Okay, so yeah, we knew it was coming. Well, we hoped it wasn't, but we knew it was coming. The tariffs. The tariffs are going to be here tomorrow. Doesn't look like there's any 11th hour deals that are going to be, going to be dropped or anything like that. We just got to eat the shit sandwich we're all going to be given. So I'm going to read this article. This is The Guardian. So speaking of shit sandwiches, here's one for you. This is what they have to say about it. Trump says no room left for deal that avoids tariffs on Mexico and Canada. We don't care about Mexico. I'm just kidding. We care about Mexico. If you travel to Mexico, you care. The U.S. will press ahead with steep tariffs on Canada and Mexico from Tuesday. Donald Trump has said, setting the stage for a trade war with his country's two largest economic partners and neighbors. Hours before his administration was due to hit America's closest neighbors with sweeping import duties, the U.S. president claimed there was no room left for a deal to avoid their imposition. The announcement led to a sharp sell-off on Wall Street. Whatever. Not really. I mean, it led, of course, but nothing more than sort of normal. If you see the sell-offs are always sharp lately. They're always around, between 1% and 2%. So, if you're a day trader, I'm sure you're making a lot of money shorting and doing all that kind of stuff. But otherwise, if you're an investor, simple investor like I am, well, you're probably getting hit, on the daily. All Mexican exports to the U.S. are set to face a levy of 25% under the plans. Most Canadian exports will face a 25% tariff, with energy products facing a 10% duty. Trump also indicated that an additional 10% levy on China, on top of the 10% introduced last month, will also be introduced. Tariffs are a very powerful weapon, he told reporters at a news conference. The action is set to prompt swift retaliation. We're ready, said the Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly. Okay, shut up. Oh, we're ready. We're ready for a fight. Shut up. You should have been ready for talks. How about that? And figured out something. But here we are now. Our inept government. Thank you very much. Wall Street fell sharply after Trump's remarks, with the S&P 500 down 1.7%, Dow Jones Industrial Average down 1.5%, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq dropping over 2.6%. The tariffs will affect $900 billion in annual imports from Canada and Mexico. The Ford CEO Jim Farley has warned they threaten to blow a hole in U.S. industry. Trump has reluctantly conceded in recent weeks that higher tariffs could lead to higher prices in the U.S., but suggested the impact would be worth the cost. He has brushed off calls to tread carefully, escalating threats to go further. Tariffs are easy, they're fast, they're efficient, and they bring fairness, Trump said. He described the levies as a powerful weapon that other presidents have not used because they were dishonest, stupid, or paid off in some other form. Trump even took a swipe at Republican hero and staunch free trader president Ronald Reagan. I'm a huge fan of Ronald Reagan, but he was very bad on trade, said Trump. Tariffs are an act of war to some degree, the billionaire investor Warren Buffett warned recently. Over time, they are a tax on goods. The tooth fairy doesn't pay him. What are you talking about? That's stupid. The tariffs, obviously, if you understand tariffs, they're good for the country that's imposing the tariffs on the front side. Obviously, if they're taking tariffs in from imported goods from another country, and they're forcing their residents to now buy nationally instead of going outside of the country for goods and services. But that's not how a global economy works now. So it's going to affect everybody, whether you like it or not. When you get priced more, when you have to buy something for more, that cost has to be offset somewhere. So it usually ends up being the consumer. The end user ends up paying a lot more, right? So, I don't know. I don't see how this is going to help. Definitely not going to help in the short term. In the long term, but perhaps it might. But realistically, I think you just impose tariffs on certain goods that maybe you're trying to make sure that for example, if you have the ability to produce certain goods in your country, and the only reason why they're going elsewhere is because those goods are cheaper to get elsewhere, and it's affecting your economy negatively, well, I think that's a good idea to impose tariffs on those specific materials or goods. But to just impose blanket tariffs on pretty much everything, I don't know. I think it's an experiment that's been done before and maybe doesn't work. Or maybe it does. I don't know. I'm not an economist, but we'll see. I think we're all going to hurt for a little while, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, in 2018, he did it. he did a bunch with China and such, and it was affecting a lot of markets that I was involved in with construction and things like that. And it was a little rough for a while. Just if you remember that time period and you had any involvement with construction, just something like roofing nails were really hard to get, and it put a real shortage on them for a long time. So it was affecting like the roofing industry and things like that. So I see the same thing happening. I'm not gonna read any more of this article. Honestly, it's just more fluff. But yeah, just so you know, be aware that they are coming, and they are coming tomorrow. So, I think the hype is going to be worse than the actual bite of the tariffs themselves. I think the tariffs themselves are they're obviously it's 25%, so it's significant, but it's more the fear of it. It's like when people were buying all the toilet paper when the vid happened right away, or just recently everybody's buying all the eggs up because they were worried about the tariffs. It's people's overreaction to these things are often worse than the actual medicine of the event, in this case the tariff. So yeah, but just brace yourself for the impact of the goofs all overreacting, and the markets and all of that reacting probably in their own best interest, like I said, shorting things and stuff like that. And never let a crisis go to waste, I guess, if you will.